Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, let me thank you, the organizer, for the given opportunity to come here today. It is our first time in Lithuania, and maybe this would be also a good time to congratulate you for the silver medal you recently won in the European Basketball Championships. We had high hopes, but my colleague and I will speak about basically reform of public administration in Croatia. I will give you a brief introduction to the team, and my colleague will inform you about a survey she conducted about that. When we talk about reform of public administration, reform of public governance in Croatia, especially comparing the other countries, the other experiences we have heard today, I must stress out one main difference. That is that Croatia is the latest member of the European Union, and if we want to observe the reform of public administration and governance in Croatia in the given time, that would be practically reform that was made during the accession process and basically meeting the so-called Madrid criteria, administrative criteria. As you can see here, during the European Union accession process, we had to modernize our public administration and to adjust administrative structure and establish an efficient public administration. You will see here that here are basically the major shortcomings observed by the European Union. They say to us before the accession that our public administration is redundant, too expensive, bad decision-making, excessive public deficit, civil service does not reflect European principles, legal basis is old-fashioned, management abilities should be strengthened, and many of administrative procedure problems. When we saw that, our government made one body. It was called, I'm still a member of that body, it's a strategic Croatian body for meeting administrative criteria and set up, and basically what we had done, only the most important things. First of all, we reduced number of ministries. They said you have too many ministries, you must reduce them. And we've done that, and a very funny thing that immediately after joining European Union, number of the ministries increased again, and that's it. We brought the new law on government administration system. We have created the Center for Professional and In-Service Training of Government Employees. We've done functional analysis or functional reassessment of all ministries. And two things that I was personally involved drafting the laws. It is the new law on general administrative procedures and the reform of the administrative court system. Basically, that was the new law on administrative disputes. That new law, as Polana stated, that basically for us, new law of the administrative procedures was one of the biggest things in the European Union accession process, because it was one of the main laws and one of the biggest reforms that we have made. Not because I drafted the law. It is new and modern law. It follows European public administration principles, and it introduces many new institutions, administrative contract, for example, point of single contact, etc., etc. But I had to stress one more thing, because We still have one big problem in Croatia. This is regarding the special administrative procedures. We have many ministries. Every department have their own laws that are material laws, but almost each and every of that laws includes in itself so-called procedural provisions. And that basically creates so-called special administrative procedures, and that special administrative provisions in many cases are different what is prescribed in the law on general administrative procedures, and following the basic principle that special law quash the general law, we still have quite a big problem in that part. After changing the law of administrative procedures, we changed the law of administrative disputes, and that law came into force in 2012. It was quite a big change, reflecting the public administration, because we now have a new system of administrative courts, 4 first-degree administrative courts, one in Osijek, one in Rijeka, one in Split, and one in Zagreb, and we have one high administrative court of the Republic of Croatia. According to this new administrative law system, administrative judges have the power to change the decisions making in the administrative procedure. And we had many disputes about it, because basically you have the system now, it wasn't possible before, that judiciary power can basically bring administrative acts, because they can change administrative act, and in their decisions, which are the court decisions, said, no, you are entitled to retirement, for example. Even though the retirement office says that you are not entitled. So basically we have a little bit of interference of the judiciary power into the administrative power, into the executive power. So there are many disputes, some are pro, some are contra, etc. Now I will give the word to my colleague, and she will talk to you about the research survey and
Thank you. So the other part of our presentation is devoted to the research that we have been conducted in the frame of our postgraduate study called Public Administration. So we have a lot of students from all around Croatia, and we usually collect their perceptions and their expectations in the public sector. Most of our students are employed in the public sector. That is the reason why they want to apply for our postgraduate study. And this research has a long base from period from 2011. It was our first generation, right? Till last semester, 2015. That's 4 years. We have results according to their perceptions and according to their satisfaction of working in public administration sector in Croatia. So our main goal when we are applying and inventing this research was to find out what about the satisfaction of the employees in public administration. We used one very famous and specially developed measuring instrument in public administration. We called it qualimeter. Qualimeter means measuring quality in public sector. So the qualimeter consists of 5 main dimensions, that is, main dimensions in public administration sector in Croatia. First dimension, we called it strategy of the organization, then organizational structure, Human capital means resources, and a lot of today's presentation has been devoted to human capital. Leadership and cooperation. When we talk about our example that we have, it is it's not see very good, but when we talk about the age of our respondents, it is between 36 and 41 year of age. Most of our respondents have a university degree, and it is a young population in public administration working between 1 to 10 years of service. So a lot of our respondents are working all over the Croatia, and all of those respondents are in our postgraduate study. Our total sample consists of around 250 respondents in total. And what about our results of the research? So that qualimeter measuring instrument consists of two scales. First scale is a scale of perception, measuring on those 5 dimensions, and the other scale is a scale of expectations. And when we compare perceptions, perceptions is a real situation and real satisfaction of the respondents in a public administration sector, and expectation is what really do they expect measuring on those 5 dimensions. And when you compare perceptions and expectations, you get real gap, real difference between perceptions and expectations. You get real satisfaction when you compare perception and expectation. And when we talk about a strategy, that was the first dimension of qualimeter measuring instrument, you can see with the red line is average satisfaction in this dimension. With the gray line is average measured per each statement. I didn't write you here all of those statements, just keywords of each of the statements. So you can see, according to the gray line and according to the red line, that the parts that needs to be improved when we talk about strategy as a first dimension is everything that is below the average satisfaction. That is implementation of the organizational strategy, monitoring that implementation, and improving quality of work. Those 3 things, those 3 questions are detected as a critical parts of the dimension called strategy. Mean that you see the average satisfaction in the dimension of strategy is 3.1. I forgot to say that all of those respondents measured each of those statements on the scale measured from 1 to 5, where 1 means totally disagree with the statement, to 5, where 5 means agree with the statement in total. Second dimension is organizational strategy. According to the organizational strategy, you can see that optimal division of tasks is a critical part. Clear tasks. Most of our students really don't know what do they have to do in public administration, in their working place. Staff participation in decision making is also below the average satisfaction. Human capital is the most critical part of public administration sector. According to our results, during the 4 years of period that we were measuring this satisfaction in the public administration, you can see that evaluation system of workers and the rewarding system. Rewarding system has a really low average grade, and you can see that human capital as average satisfaction has a grade 2.9. And you can see for the rest of 2 dimensions that it is the lowest grade for the dimension of human capital. When we talk about leadership, you can see that development of local community and necessary infos for work performance is below the average satisfaction. That means that those 2 critical part needs to be improved, as well as in the other dimensions. And the final dimension is cooperation, total average grade of this dimension is 3.4, which is the highest grade in the qualimeter measuring instrument, but still, whatever, it is highest grade, but it also needs to be improved in some parts, which is constructive conflict resolution and cooperation with local community. A lot of our respondents said that they don't have a good link, good cooperation with local community. As a short conclusion, all of our students are saying to us that a lot of communication, we heard today in the morning session, I think that I cannot remember the name of the lady from the government, said that we have a really lack of communication between the departments and one department to the other, and good communication is a really starting point for better work, for better, successful, efficient, effective public administration. Thank you very much.